Hello, everybody. We're going to talk about seed plants. Seed plants is broken down to numerous different parts. These are going to be the blue slides and should finish out this presentation. So let's talk about the main parts of a plant. There are three parts: the root, the stem, and the leaf or flower. Let's talk about the roots. The roots have jobs. They get water and nutrients from the soil, and they move up, called xylem. Then there's the anchor, which also holds the plants in the ground. And there's storage. These are all the jobs. They keep extra food, sugar, from photosynthesis. There are different types of roots. You have a taproot, which is found mostly in dicots. One main root growing downward with tiny, small roots that branch out. And they get water deep underground. An example is a carrot. There's fibrous roots, found mostly in monocots. Several roots spread out from the base of the stem, about the same size. They get water close to the surface. An example of this would be grass. Now we talk about stems. Stems have two jobs: to connect the roots to leaves and flowers, and then offer support, keeps the plant body upright. Leaves get better sunlight for photosynthesis. Flowers are off the ground to be closer to animals for seed dispersal and pollination. And then there's a third part of stems: storage. Some store water or sugar, like a cactus. And there's different types of stems. You have herbaceous stems and woody stems. Herbaceous is soft, thin, and flexible, like the beans you're growing in class, wildflowers or clovers. And there's woody stems, rigid stems made up of wood and bark. Example would be trees and shrubs. Now we talk about the leaf. Well, the leaf makes food. That food is sugar by the process of photosynthesis. The photosynthesis equation you've seen before. It's water plus carbon dioxide plus light energy, and that's going to make sugar and oxygen. So when we look at a leaf has a unique structure and function. Now we're going to look at this as a cross-section view. We're going to cut through a leaf. So we talk about the cuticle, and that covers outer surface to prevent water loss. Then there's the epidermis, a single layer of cells beneath the cuticle. Light can pass through. Stomata, openings in the epidermis that let CO2, carbon dioxide, into the leaf. Singular equals stoma. And there's the guard cells, open and close the stomata. There's the palisade layer, one of the middle layers that has many chloroplasts for photosynthesis. And there's a spongy layer where veins of xylem and phloem are found. So let's talk about how the gas exchange happens in leaves. Carbon dioxide enters and oxygen exits the leaves through the stomata. Transpiration, it's like plants are sweating. When water evaporates through the stomata, and if that happens too much, it makes it too bad. That's when leaves start to wilt. Flowers. There's jobs of flowers. There's reproduction. Flowers are an adaptation to help plants pollinate. 2, color and nectar from flowers attracts animals to drink and thus pollinate the plant. So there's a honeybee coming in to pollinate, but it's actually trying to get the nectar. So that brings us to flowers. Flowers have some basic parts. You have the sepal, which modified leaves that protect and the flower bud. There's the petal, colorful leaf-like parts of a flower that attract animals to pollinate. There's a stamen, which is male reproductive structures, made up of a filament and an anther. And there's the pistil, the female reproductive structures made up of the stigma, style, and ovary. So the filament and the anther equal stamen, and the stigma and style plus the ovary equals pistil. So the male parts of the plant are going to be the filament and anther. See how it says stamen? And then the female parts would be the stigma, style, and ovary, otherwise known as the pistil. Pollination and fertilization. Pollination, the transfer of pollen from the male to female structure on a plant. Fertilization, when a sperm fuses with an egg. This piece of pollen would be the sperm inside an ovary. So how does a flower to fruit to seed, how does this whole cycle work? Well, it starts out here as a seed. And as you go from seed, the plant grows and develops and gets flowers. Well, those flowers will then produce and pollinate, and that's where that's going to be able to create that fertilization. And each ovule within the flower's ovary contains a fertilized egg. And the petals and filaments fall away. So the flower falls away. So the fruit, or the vegetable in this case, will show up from the flower. And the ovary becomes the fruit. And then it becomes a seed because that's what's inside of the fruit is, or the vegetable would be a seed. All right, that's the end of our presentation.